You are a TBL team that's been competing in the league for 6 years. Every season, you've come up short. What's the problem? Who's to blame? In this video, I'll take you on the journey of a theoretical TBL franchise across league history, the highs and the lows. We'll dive into the stories of real championship teams who have played and won in this league, backed by real stats, expert breakdowns, and exclusive insights. You'll hear the words of coaches and owners, the backstories that shape their paths, and the sacrifices it truly takes to become a TBL champion. This is the full breakdown. You are the Kansas City Simulation Squad, a theoretical TBL team planted right in the middle of the USA, Kansas City, Missouri. It's 2019, and you've had your eyes on a new basketball league that launched in 2018 under a different name. After a rough start, it rebranded as the Basketball League, led by CEO Evelyn Magley. Her vision? A league built not just on competition, but on community engagement and sports entertainment. Alongside her husband, President David Magley, she set the foundation for what TBL would become. So, where does that leave your team? Well, you've got a family-owned chicken and waffle restaurant right in town, and a few $100,000 sitting around. Perfect. You can cover the league initiation fee, referee costs, player salaries, and living accommodations. Now it's time for the league's draft combine. You've got 2 picks, first and second round. Some local hoopers you already know can fill roster spots, which saves you on housing. But the draft? That's mandatory, and those players will need accommodations. Training camp begins with 20 hopefuls, but only 12 can make the cut. Who do you prioritize? The choice isn't easy. You don't even fully know what this league is yet. In that first year, there were no divisions, just a brutal round-robin schedule where every team had to travel cross-country. Kansas City found itself battling squads from San Diego, Las Vegas, Yakima, St. Louis, Albany, Rochester, New York City, Kentucky, Raleigh, and Tampa Bay. The grind was tough. Your in-state rival, St. Louis, had Tavares Sledge, a star who still dominates TBL today. In 2019, he averaged 30 points and 10 rebounds. On the road, you fell to Las Vegas, then coached by current TBL Commissioner Carl Wiley. That same trip stretched you to Washington and San Diego. You managed to beat the short-lived San Diego Waves franchise, but lost to the Yakima Sun Devils, who went on to finish as league runner-up. Back home, you split close games with St. Louis, but ultimately came up short. The simulation squad didn't make the playoffs. Meanwhile, Albany stormed to a championship behind 3 elite shooters who all hit 40% from 3, 2 of them averaging over 20 points per game. Shadell Millinghouse became the playoff MVP, cementing Albany's dominance. Looking back, your team's best player was your draft pick, and after that first year, he signed overseas to play in Spain. Housing players from the draft was a burden in year 1, but the lesson was clear. Blending local talent with draft talent is the formula for success. Albany proved it, building an entire title team from TBL combines. Year 1 was a learning curve, but heading into year 2, you're convinced this is the year the Kansas City Simulation Squad makes its run at the TBL Championship. Year 2 was supposed to be about redemption. The Simulation Squad entered the season ready to exceed expectations, ready to build on the lessons of year 1. But then, the entire world came to its knees. COVID-19 shut everything down. All the community engagement, the momentum, the progress, it vanished overnight. The basketball league, still fragile and fighting to establish itself, suddenly faced its breaking point. The season, already shortened, had no choice but to end abruptly. For a moment, it felt like this wasn't just the end of the season. It might be the end of the league itself. But sometimes the biggest setbacks lead to divine momentum. Year 3, 2021, may have been the most competitive and most talented year in TBL history. The entire basketball world was in disarray. College players begged for extra eligibility. Mandatory vaccines created new hurdles. Overseas opportunities dried up as players couldn't travel. COVID touched everything, and basketball was no exception. Yet, with all the chaos, something unexpected happened. American players suddenly had limited options. By the grace of God, the basketball league survived its darkest hour. And when players went searching for opportunities, many of them chose the TBL. New teams began springing up across the country, from Shreveport, Louisiana to Kokomo, Indiana. Every pocket of America seemed to have a new squad and new faces. And through it all, the simulation squad, just like the league itself, showed resilience. Funding poured in like never before, setting the stage for a comeback season. But what would a 2021 season actually look like? More talent than ever, because of COVID. More teams than ever, because of COVID. And for the simulation squad, bigger expectations than ever. To win now, the blueprint was clear. Draft combines had already proven they could produce championship caliber teams. Local talent was itching to play again after a season cut short and another lost in chaos. The vision sharpened. You need shooters. At least 2 players hitting over 40% from deep while averaging 20-plus points a night. You need a dominant big man, someone who could finally match up with your in-state rival, Tavares Sledge. And you need a point guard on the level of Shadell Millinghouse, who carried Albany to glory back in 2019. The season felt wide open. No veteran team had momentum left after the gap year. And in the end, the 2021 championship went to a newcomer, the Enid Outlaws from Oklahoma. They had been snubbed during the COVID-shortened year, but when given a full season, they dominated with talent and elite coaching. Their roster even featured NBA guard Lindy Waters, who after his TBL run signed with Golden State and now plays for the Memphis Grizzlies. His journey showed the world what the league could produce. And he wasn't alone. The 2021 TBL season featured 3 NBA prospects in total. So, where does that leave the simulation squad? Do we pack our bags and walk away? Heck no. With NBA-level talent now in the mix, people are starting to notice. The mission is simple: find the right pieces, reload, and keep fighting toward year 4. By now, the simulation squad has mastered the grind, budgeting travel, managing pro athletes, handling housing, and navigating league politics. The roster is strong. Over the last few years, you've developed your very own 20-point scorers who knock down 40% from 3. You drafted a Division I big man and managed to keep him, thanks to the lingering strain of COVID. Overseas travel was still tricky, so he stayed in America, and with you. It's 2022, and the table is set. But then comes the question: the NBA vets. Since the league's beginning, TBL has been known to bring in former NBA players. They're a blessing and a curse. On one hand, they put fans in the seats. Everyone wants to see a familiar face. On the other, they're older, worn down, and often drained of the passion that drives hungry players. So what do? Do you bet on guaranteed talent, or do you losing the fire that built your team? Kansas City makes the call. You sign an NBA vet. Meanwhile, the league is maturing. With more teams joining, conferences and divisions finally bring a sense of structure. The brutal coast-to-coast trips are limited. The field feels more balanced. Some teams have bigger budgets. Others thrive on structure and strategy. And a few, just a few, have the right mix to finish as champions. For the simulation squad, the season looks promising. The roster is stacked, the vet is in place, the vision is clear. But when the playoffs hit, you fall in the first round. That year, it was the Shreveport Mavericks who claimed the title. Built on smart scouting at the combine, strong draft picks, and a core of local guys who had played together for years, they marched to the 2022 TBL championship. For Kansas City, it's frustrating. The pieces were there. The NBA vet had talent that far outshined most of them, but in TBL, talent isn't enough. Hard work and passion beat talent every time. By season's end, your local guys were already signing contracts overseas. The star vet you brought in didn't finish the season the way you hoped. And now the question hangs in the air. The community expects to see the vet back. But does he want it as badly as you do? So what's next for year 5? Will a veteran team finally put it all together and break through? Or will a new giant enter the league and begin a campaign of domination? Year 5. The simulation squad rebuilds from the ground up. The scoring is gone, but your Division I big man stays, locked in on one of the richest contracts in the league. The NBA vet is gone too, parted on mutual terms. Now, it's all about the draft combine. You must find a scorer to carry you, because the league has never been more competitive. By now, the basketball league has exploded in size. Conferences and divisions stretch across the map. Expansion teams with real budgets are popping up everywhere. The spotlight is growing brighter. But just south of you, a storm is forming. In Shawnee, Oklahoma, a franchise is rising that will redefine the league itself, the Potawatomi Fire. In their very first seasons, they become a dynasty. 3 years in a row, they lose no more than a single game per season. 3 straight championships. An organization that feels less like a semi-pro league and more like the NBA itself, complete with a pro-level arena, player housing, and a budget designed to dominate. And at the center of it all, Paul Harrison. Once a champion with the Shreveport Mavericks, Harrison joins the Fire and adds to his legacy, collecting 4 TBL championships in total. Alongside him is the heartbeat of the dynasty, Chuck Guy. A point guard with ice in his veins, Guy racks up multiple league MVPs and playoff MVPs, cementing himself as one of the greatest players in TBL history. With his leadership, the Fire turned talent into teamwork, and teamwork into destiny. The Fire's dominance isn't just about winning, it's about changing the league. They raise the bar. They force every other franchise to adapt, to grow, to professionalize. Even as new teams like Great Falls Electric and the Fredericksburg Flying Cows rise with their own stars, even as Kansas City builds and rebuilds, the Fire stand tall as the measuring stick. So the years roll on. 3 straight titles, 1 dynasty, and a league reshaped by their Fire. Now, the horizon turns to 2026. The Kansas City simulation squad has a chance. Kokomo has a chance. Albany, Raleigh. So many teams with expectations, hungry for a shot. But one question remains. Can anyone topple the Fire? Or will the dynasty burn even brighter, so fathering the league with yet another crown? In conclusion, thank you TBL for allowing me to be a part of this journey, and good luck to everyone going forward.